Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. I hope you guys are having a great day. Well, what did the channel predict in yesterday's video? That was going to be a general pullback across the market, and we saw this exactly come to fruition in today's trading session. This was after some of the big tech stocks released earnings that investors weren't completely happy with. Take a look at Google, what's going on with their trading. And also, in addition, you have Jerome Powell from the Fed that basically says that, hey, interest rates likely won't be cut in March. And investors started to have a little bit of a sell-off here, and we see the broad market indexes come down as I think it was being priced in to have more frequent interest rate cuts than what we likely could get. Now, Palantir included saw a little bit of a pullback. Remember, we have earnings that's going to be happening February 5th post-market. There could be a lot of volatility, especially with some of the momentum changes that we're seeing right now. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. Always do your own research out there. Now, what we see in terms of the general market, we see the NASDAQ, Dow Jones, S&P 500, all coming down here about 1 to 2%. And what you do have in the policy statement is that the Fed noted that it doesn't expect it to be appropriate to cut those interest rates until it has greater confidence that inflation is falling to 2%, and saying that they don't likely think that the committee will reach this level of confidence by the March meeting. Basically saying, hey, we're probably not going to cut rates because that might be too aggressive in cutting rates by March. And you also have, in addition, some of the Magnificent Seven stocks, they took center stage with their earnings. And also, we're going to continue to see earnings being released. Apple, Amazon, and Meta included. They're getting their turn today, which is going to be Thursday. Now, in terms of what we have for PLTR, let's go to that, focus in on what we need to be looking at in terms of this AI stock, specifically with the earnings that's going to be coming out here in the near future. Now, PLTR comes down about 3.88%. Actually up about 11% in the after hours. So right now sitting at 1620. We see it, and it could possibly test the support zone right here. And I think one of the most technical analysis charts that we've seen for PLTR right here. This is more of a joke. I like this. My first PLTR TA chart you see right here. Earnings good, up, earnings bad, down. And I would agree with that. Not getting too involved with the technical analysis that, hey, if we have earnings that do very well, I think we could see PLTR that does get and reassume the $17 level of support right here that we have talked about, could even get more of that momentum to touch this $20 level of resistance. I mean, look what happened last quarter. You had PLTR that jumped from 14, created this gap all the way to the 17s, and then hit a 52-week year-to-date high for 2023 at 2185. Now, a little bit of this cool off right here, Palantir consolidating at the 16s, is not necessarily a bad thing. The 16s has not been a very popular trading zone for PLTR in its historical price zones. And with this consolidation, this is great for building that support and building that level, that base level, as we might see a little bit of a pullback across the market. If we see earnings go bad, what you're seeing right now is a lot of bearish articles that are being posted across the board. We need to acknowledge that. We need to face reality that Palantir could come down here, be very volatile in between the 13s and the 15s. A lot of analysts do have price targets at this level. However, that's not always just a bearish thing. That could be a bullish perspective if you are looking to get in on a long-term position for PLTR, getting in at a cheaper price. Or even, hey, what if you got up here into the 20s and you want a dollar cost average? There's always opportunities there. Now, with options, what we're seeing is actually a decent amount of call volume at the $17 strike price. And you have over 10,000 in terms of the implied volatility for end of the week expirations. So in short term, people are expecting a little bit of a reversal here. What we are seeing across the general market, though, you see a lot of bearish articles that are continuing to be posted right here. Analysts maintain Palantir underperformed ahead of Q4 earnings. And what they are basing a lot of their analysis on is the muted quarterly government spend tracker, except for the NHS. That was the National Health Service contract, and saying here mixed commercial checks. Basically saying they predict that government contract value implies modest growth, and they expect no change in commercial business since the AIP launch. So you're having some analysts basically saying right here that, hey, they think that government revenue is going to go down. And where I sit right now with that opinion, what this article is saying is, in my own opinion, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Reason being is yes, these governmental credentials and bringing trustworthy and credit worthiness to Palantir is important. But now PLTR is really working to take a dive into their AIP platform and really getting into the commercial side of things. We've seen this. I've shown the bar charts many times with the commercial customer growth and the commercial revenue growth that's been continuing to increase year over year. I think we could see that continue to grow here. February 5th post-market earnings per share predictions are at 8 cents and 602 million in terms of revenue. What we do have for earnings per share revisions, remember, is 16 bullish revisions in the last 90 days. Yet we're still seeing these bearish articles saying here, the Palantir rally is not ready to show up again. But with that, and what investor places right here is that they give Palantir a buy rating, especially with the earnings coming up right here, saying after 4 consecutive profitable quarters and this AI data analytics firm, is that people could be getting in at decent prices and taking advantage of the volatility rather than being fearful of the volatility. And that just becomes with how basically emotional you get in more of these speculative stocks and with how invested you are. If you're too deep and too emotional, then hey, it may not just be the right thing for you. So with that, in terms of what we still have bullishness behind PLTR. It's where I'm sitting. Volatile times could be ahead. We're seeing a correction pullback. Now, I'm not going to call it a full correction yet. We're seeing a pullback across the market. We're seeing bearish articles being pushed across, specifically pinpointing at Palantir, talking about governmental contracts and governmental revenue could be on the decline. But however, like I said, with this AIP, I think them getting involved with the private sector could be a great performing stock all the way through 2030. And I would agree with Motley Fool talking about Palantir right here, specifically even having the high valuation that it does. If you compare that to other AI stocks, it's actually pretty similar. Comparing it to other AI-like stocks, and Palantir usually outcompetes those if you just look at their financial sheets. Look how much cash they have on hand versus the debt that they do have. And with the S&P 500 inclusion that could likely be coming in 2024, you have more maturity that will be growing into PLTR. So, moral of the story right here. Earnings, we're all still very excited for it. I think Palantir could surprise some of us, and either way, earnings, however it goes, earnings good. We see Palantir go up. That's great for people that are already in. We see earnings go bad. People that want to get in could basically take advantage of those volatility times. However, a pullback could easily happen if the momentum of the market continues to pull back. If we don't see a reversal, Palantir could be testing those 13s to the 15s. And hey, people that have been waiting on the sidelines, waiting for this, getting in at more attractive prices, this could be a decent opportunity for anybody out there. But that's all that I have for you guys. Take care. Let me know, what do you think down there? And of course, like I said, always do your own research. Don't listen to what I'm saying for your investment advice, and take care.